Welcome to DiceSized, and welcome to Wish Hunter. This is me, your DM, Robert Whitehead, and with me, as always, is my brother, George.
Hello, I'm George. You can call me G. I'll be playing Parable Parsi. I'm carrying my good book and Lack of a Conscience.
Ooh, welcome, Parable. He keeps on misplacing that thing, just like I've just misplaced my brother. But of course, we have not misplaced Maya.
Hi, I'm Maya. You can call me Maya. I will be playing Zin, and Rob will be playing my familiar Akuma.
Akuma. Destruction.
Akuma.
What is this flavor? Dandelion. Oh, yes.
You promised to be chill.
Destruction. And of course, last but certainly not least, my lovely wife, Savannah.
Hey, it's Sav. I will be playing Cassie, and she's feeling a little sassy.
Ooh, nice.
Sassy.
Snap in a Z formation.
In a W formation,
In a
actually.
W
Cassie in a Z
Get it?
formation.
Cassiopeia.
Yeah, you'll know it if you know it.
Sassy, sassy.
Only the OGs will get it.
Parable, Zin, Cassie, I am happy to have you. And, you know, I'm loving this story so much, I just want to get right at it. So let's get into a recap, y'all. Last time, our heroes had a not-so-chance meeting at the entrance to the Rabbit's Foot. Passing through the illusory entrance, Zin, Cassie, and Parable made their way through the maze-like warrens and greenery, seeking the secret third well that exists within the Rabbit's Foot. Led by Five, the rambunctious yet well-meaning son of Mojo Clover IV, the party tensely approached their 10th gleaning, an evaluation of sorts, where they were observed and scrutinized by the wizard Fall and the Witch of the Willow while having tea with Mojo. Knowing that to sit at this table was to entertain the idea of taking missions on together as a team, our heroes selected their tea and took their seats. They talked of many things, Parable and his keeping of curiosities, which might have been Mojo checking in on Parable's honesty, Cassie and her work upon the stars and if she'd had word from her father, both stress testing Cassie while also functionally helpful toward the fact-finding of the upcoming mission. Zin and her recent ways she'd helped Five, checking on the fact that Zin might be unlearning a little bit of that almost toxic need for honesty, goodness, and all things pure. It was good to see that Zin could tell a white lie for Mojo. Passing their gleanings, our heroes were given the status of wish hunters of the third well. Mojo, Fall, and Willow congratulated the group, yet celebrations were quickly interrupted by Fall reversing gravity to see how the group would respond as a team, which they did with stunning success, virtuosos in the air with 3 nat 20s. Sitting down once more, now as a team, Mojo then gave you the details of your first mission. To go to the aid of the missing Starwatch Tower hands, Mojo asked Fall to share the startling news, that of the star's future descent. Though Fall was sparse on details, let's get a Fall! Cassie was not, for she had discovered just the same and more. This seemed, or at least she hypothesized, that it might be a cycle, one that would start and not soon stop. Parable turned to his good book for answers, Zin turned inward. Both found an answer of 3s to match Cassie's answer of a 3-star constellation. The pages of the good book turned and turned until finally and suddenly, stopping upon a page where the first words to stay upon these pages appeared. Accompanied by a constellation of 3 stars were the words, "To be continued." We rejoin our heroes now as Mojo has just finished telling you of your mission. He's talked about travel to the Domino Mountains and asked you to go to the aid of Starwatch Tower.
The gleaming test, was that a test for honesty?
Well, Parable, it's not really a test when you know someone's going to pass. It's more of just a step along a path that you've seen them take as long as you've known them. It's trust, I think, Parable, not a test.
I'm glad that it's been faith and not something I had to pray for. I'm glad that I can do this for you, but I'm scared.
Parable, I am on your team, and now that you have a team of your own, I think maybe even taking on the trial of these tokens might be easier as a group. You don't have to share, but once more, I tell you that the tokens that anchor your warden must be renewed. And he turns to the third well. And as he says this, Willow beckons the roots from the cavern ceiling above, reaching into the third well. 3 curling roots retrieve your tokens of warding. These were items that you each placed here. One that meant enough to you that it could serve you to anchor your warding bond with Willow and thus through her. And the third well, Mojo and Fall and this domain as wish hunters. Both kind of stabilizing your wish or curse effects, not fully nullifying it in any way, but just making sure that it is under your control rather than you under its. So I will ask you, please roll, we'll call this initiative.
Cool.
To see who has a chance to get at their token first.
We add our modifier.
Yeah.
2, 16.
That'd be a 12.
Awesome. Zin, that is you first. As the tokens are presented, what these look like are large roots coming from the absolute, ceiling of the cavern that get ever and ever smaller. And so what they curl to grab these things. So it's like several curls of the last little smaller bit of the root when it gets to like a wrist size length. And what your tokens have actually become are like a spherical representation of what that token was. So you don't actually have to share, if you don't want to, what the actual item that this became, but it's like a marbleized version or more like a snow globe captured version of that token. It might be obvious based on what you put in there, but it also might not be. So I would ask you, as you have the chance to approach your token, what does it look like?
Yeah, I think Zin, she knows the rules. She's like, all right, it's time for this part. And she clasps her pinkies together and walks forward to gaze upon a small, used to be like a pendant on a necklace, gold chalice. And she just looks at it and says, I will be with you again one day. And just kind of like waits for the next step.
Awesome. As you approach and say these words, you hear the echo of the promise that you made that day. The thing that forever altered your path in a way of this world that has to be tracked in some way. And the Wish Hunters have crystallized it. What does that crystallized spherical shape exactly look like?
Like it's a crystallized memory, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I think it has like a bright, like almost like smoke. There's like a bright white kind of core, and then there's the black smoke kind of like overtaking the light core, but it's not full. It's just like, I don't know, yin yang, but not that precise. But like it's taking over this. Can I do a charisma save?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just given the day, I just feel like 15.
That saves, I would say, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that tracks a little bit of like, yeah, I am Zin every day is thinking about this. So I don't think it's
one roll a day.
Like a shock, like, oh my God, this is such a surprise. It's like, oh, there's my conscience. Nice.
You approach and re-imbue it. As you re-imbue your ward to the third well, you feel something. I think we'll actually do that part at the end here.
Sick.
Who's next up in initiative?
That would be me.
Yes, Parable, that is you. As you approach your token, grasped by a root of the great tree above, what does it look like? And what is your token?
Parable sent down a vision of memories and falling again, unfortunately, and has just it all happened so quick. But when Parable fell down the infinite Athenum, he reached the bottom of the well of books and study, and there was an object that he left with other than the good book that is a reminder of everything Parable's been through and the oath he made against his original oath to do good in this world and save people like him. And he looks upon the coin that he found this old rusty gold coin. It doesn't seem like gold could rust like this, but it's like just a tarnished metal. But it holds so much purity to Parable, and he looks longingly at it, but also as if he's looking at a reflection of himself he doesn't like. I think he walks up and he says, "One day, I'll make my own wish."
As you feel the renewal of both your oath as a paladin, one of vengeance, and also the seeking of a life after that, the seeking of one day, or perhaps maybe that wishes to culminate that path. We shall see what Parable means with those words as he also touches his token. You also feel this imbuement of energy from a third well. That this is new to you as well, you Ensign and Cassie. Finally, as you approach the third well, your token held by the grasping roots of the tree, what does it look like? And what is that token?
The token that Cassie approaches is a parchment-made version of the astrolabe that her mother left behind for her. So when she was young, she caught glimpses of the real astrolabe, and her dad kept it in his possession for a long time before finally he gifted it to Cassie to inherit. But in that time, Cassie felt so drawn to the astrolabe as an item that was full of her mother's love for her, or that she perceived to be so full of her mother's love, that she wanted to create her own version to be just like her mom, even though her dad wouldn't give it to her. So it's like a cardboard version of that.
Wow, which represents like the idealized, as a child would, the idealized version of what that thing is and the concepts that it holds of your relationship. Awesome. Definitely worthy of a token. Are there any aspects of the scene that stand out of this crystallized ball?
I think the crystallized ball looks like there's a bursting star inside that has a heartbeat. Like the beating heart of a star.
Awesome. Awesome. You as well feel an imbuement from the third well as Mojo speaks and says, "As wish hunters of the third well, you will have access to part of its power. Not only are you renewing your ward, but you are also being imbued with the energy of the third well, at least a small piece of it in this moment, so that we may support you as best as we can." What do you think, guys? I'll ask you each, what does this feel like? This is a rush of magical energy.
Super Saiyan.
So we'll go same order. Zin, what does that feel like in terms of the energy that rushes through you?
She is trying very hard to keep her chill because this feels like when Akuma took over, and she is like, I think, just clutching her pinkies, like this is the right thing to do. This is the right thing to do. Like, it's the well. It's a good thing. Just, oh my gosh. Yeah. Very overwhelming, I think, in that moment.
Mojo continues on. "We know not what powers will grant it to you as you feel flames rush through you like the day of your promising.
Pinky promise.
But if you ever find yourself at a loss, reach for it. You will feel it inside."
That's what Akuma says every day. That's what he says every day.
Well,
and then he burns stuff.
You hear Akuma say, "What is this?
No, I cannot with you right now,
What is this
Akuma.
little glowing light? Are you..."
Maybe you guys could be friends. No, don't be friends. I take that back. Oh, I don't know.
For Zin, feels just like the same of the rushing power of Promise Day.
This is good, right? This is good.
Right. I guess. Yeah, I guess it kind of feels like an extra ace in the hole. Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Oh, I don't know if that's a good thing.
And Peril, what does it feel like for you as this magical energy of the third well rushes through you?
I think it's incredibly overwhelming for Parable, but he doesn't let it show, or tries not to let it show. So he puffs out his chest. He's about a half inch taller because he's a little bit on the balls of his feet, and he just tries to act like it feels good, like as if you just like got a little too much of an electric shock, but you try to act like you went Super Saiyan. So you're like, he's like, "Okay, all right, yep, that feels great, right, guys? All right, I'm fine, right? Everyone's good."
Yeah, we're gonna be great. We're gonna do good.
Totally. As you feel that power surging through you, that makes a lot of sense with the charm that I have in mind. But once more, Mojo says, Bearable, it seems like you'll experience a larger than normal surge of energy from the third well, but I wish I could tell you what's going to happen when you activate that, but just maybe be careful when you do that one specifically.
It's all right. It always happens to me.
It's such a small body.
Bearable, have you read books about sin eaters at all? He goes on a little bit of talking about the concept of a sin eater. And the last, but certainly not least, Cassie, what does this feel like as it rushes through you?
You ever get so anxious that you like kind of chatter, like you shiver?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
It's like when you then finally lay down on the floor and take a really deep belly breath and you're like, oh, I'm actually quite warm, like in a good way. You're like, okay, I just needed to go regulate. Yeah. It's like, boom, suddenly you can feel how hot you actually were, how sweaty you actually were, but sort of in a comforting way. Like it washes over you like, oh, I can be in control. I can regulate myself.
You have no idea how much I love this. As you feel that, again, you don't know the charm that is taking place, but it is akin to the feeling that you have described. Oh my God, I love being DM. Your players do not know the exact charms. I love the idea of casting magic, but not knowing it. But I also want your characters to be experts. So I've come up with the way that these charms, Mojo's charms of the third well, will work. You guys can read them off. I wrote this before the session.
Oh,
they're not going to believe us. People listening aren't going to believe
nobody's going to believe me. It is it's in player notes. It's called Mojo's Charms of the Third Well.
Oh my God.
Oh, Jesus.
Right? Fuck off, right?
You fuck off.
No, fuck off. I wrote this days ago.
It's osmosis. We all spend so much time in the notion that it's just kind of coming through our keyboards and we're like
I was soaking it up. I was just sitting there like, what the hell? But these are new charms that were put in the play. I forget if it's the player's handbook or the 2024 DM's guide, but I like them and they felt thematically appropriate to you guys. And I think you guys really described them as such. So I think that's wild. Zin, we'll start with you if you want to read yours off.
Mouth
agape, right? It's
just, oh my God.
It's insane.
My charm is Charm of the Flames. Akuma, shh. Let me read it.
What? Who is this?
Shh. I know, you're going to love this one. Trust me. As an action, you can summon either a nightmare or a hellhound. Zin is not okay. She's going to have a heart attack.
Oh my gosh.
The summoned creature appears in unoccupied spaces within 60 feet of you and obeys your commands while retaining their lawful evil alignment. At least it's
right.
The creature takes its turn immediately after yours on the initiative count. Sick. A summoned creature remains for 10 minutes until it or you die. Never. Or until you dismiss the creature as an action. Please go away. Once used 3 times, the charm vanishes from you. Oh, okay. Ooh.
I will say, in my mind, I wasn't sure which way you'd want to go, but I will allow you the flexibility of choosing to morph Akuma into that or to summon a new thing. It's totally your call about which way you want to direct with that moment. But yeah, again, Zin does not know this. Maya does. And
poor Zin.
Parable, what does, or rather, George, what does Parable not know?
Parable has the Charm of the Well. That's a supernatural gift. As an action, you can borrow a wish from the third well. When you do, you create the effects of a spell of 5th level or lower. The spell takes effect as part of this action and requires no spell components. Your intelligence, wisdom, or charisma is the spellcasting ability for this spell. Your choice. Once you use this charm, it vanishes from you.
5th level or
nice. I should mention that that's actually a homebrew one where I stole the text from Limited Wish, a warlock. I think there is a charm specific to that, but it's not called Charm of the Well. But I still love that you just described yourself. I'm overflowing with power.
Yeah, I get a 5th level or lower spell.
Right.
So that's amazing.
But for you, once you use it once, it's gone. So a little bit balanced there. And last, but Cassie, what was what was yours?
Drink every time Rob says last, but certainly not least.
Sorry, yeah, fuck me, right?
No. Well.
Last but certainly not least.
Cassie has the Charm of Balance. So when a creature you can see within 60 feet of you damages you, you can use your reaction to deal an amount of force or radiant damage to that creature equal to half the damage you took. Once used 3 times, the charm vanishes from you.
Dang.
Ooh.
Again, just thematically appropriate
Wow.
as you found the balance and centered yourself. with
Taking a
that
belly
feeling.
breath, passing on the damage.
Just insane, y'all.
It
I'm
did feel-
rubber, you're glue.
It did feel like a nervous, like anxious, then calm. So I was like, well, I think of the 3 of us that are doing all right, I think Cassie's holding in there.
She's going to be balanced, that's for sure.
Awesome. So you all as players know your charms and can use them whenever, but as characters do not know, as you have all had these kind of personal moments re-imbued and renewed in your vow as wish hunters and the memory that drives you, or at least one of the many. These binding stones, these tokens that are bound in crystallized stone, held in stasis by the great tree and grasped by these roots, are pulled back up to the ceiling, and your gleaning is officially complete.
Yeah.
Did I do good?
Yes.
Did I get a
We all
good
throw our
grade?
caps in the air and
Did I get a good grade?
where's my report card?
Please, we talked about this, Mojo.
So you are all officially hunters of the third well. Your tokens have been renewed, and Mojo looks at you and says, "So as I've said, the Tower Hands of Starwatch Tower need your help. Their leader, Sagacious, is a friend of mine, and though I haven't heard from him in a while, this missive it seems dire. So I must send some of my best into dangerous lands. Paul, are you ready for preparations?" Paul has been measuring up and yogifying all of you slightly for a while now. As Fall prepares, the Witch of the Willow, with eyes like deep forest, gathers you all close, but looks at you, Zin, specifically, more so than the others, as she speaks very softly. "Remember, the roots of the willow run deep. Even beyond the witching wood, these willows are rare, but they have a way of appearing to those who seek them. They know the paths of fate, and though scattered across these lands, each one carries a part of the old magic." She smiles, and her hand gently traces a willow leaf that is part of her being, essentially, but as she traces her hand along it, it parts from her, and a stem of willow leaves in the shape, a small dagger in the shape of a stem of willow leaves is now in her hand, and she says, "So keep your eyes open and your heart steady, and when the path grows uncertain, look for a willow's quiet guidance. The roots will remember you." And you can feel in her words as they hum, the dagger also hums with this sylvan sort of energy as she hands you this dagger, not so subtly, maybe kind of identifying one that she thinks has potential. You can kind of actually roll an insight check here for Zin.
12?
This is a token of mentorship. I don't know if Zin's known that, but you can see in this moment that the Witch of the Willow considers you someone that she has kind of taken under her personal tutelage.
Zin is absolutely honored. And I think she says, thank you. This is very comforting.
As the willow is, it doesn't always have to be loud to be powerful. And we run deep.
What?
I just said we run deep,
Oh,
which sounds like such a more badass thing to say.
That was so deep. I loved seeing the witch just go. Like
George is throwing
Willow.
up. George is throwing up.
It's the
signs.
willow.
Willow.
Dubs.
Okay, so that Willow has given her little speech and kind of a blessing over your journey with the aid of this token. We'll find out what that dagger does later on. The wizard Fall, he's been kind of pushing you so subtly, while maintaining these weirdly awkward postures, pushing you so subtly to the edge of the third well. As you stand on the third well's edge, the wizard fall beams at you with just the most wild eccentric grin, and his robes kind of billow out as he gestures and puts you again all in these incredibly chessboard-like positions, and he says, "Perfect. Just a bit to the left. Yes, that's it. Now, don't mind the tingling sensation. It's just gravity getting confused."
Not again.
No, don't worry. It's not like that. Mojo, are we ready?
Always like that.
Mojo is kind of hurriedly says, any final questions on the mission? He does hand a piece of paper he gestures to the party.
Zin takes it.
Zin takes it. Zin takes a piece of paper that has like the official details of the mission if you guys need to refer to them.
Perfect. This will come in handy. Thank you so much. I love a plan.
As Fall has prepared you, he raises his hands, muttering kind of this odd rhythmic chant, and the air around you shimmers, and you feel that same strange tug, like invisible hands reposition you all until you kind of stand aligned and ready to go. Ready to go, Fall says. Are you all ready for your aerial debut? Remember, what goes up must come down. Unless you're a wizard. And in this moment, out of nowhere, he wraps, it seems like he's holding nothing until he whips his hands through the air around you, Cassie, and you feel a cloak fall upon you. And he says, "Or unless you're Cassie." With a snap of his fingers, the world seems to flip as he says, "Hold on to Cassie if it ever feels like you're not followed in the right direction." And once more, you are falling not down, but are up, arcing straight towards the ceiling of this cavern. And you see Willow says, "A warning would have been helpful," and gestures as the tree itself parts so that the trunk is actually a hollow tunnel, and you shoot up through the center of this great tree as the roots open, and more than that, the center of the tree itself gives way, and you feel the pressure and absolute exhilaration of rushing along something near inches away from you in all directions, and you are falling. It's just not down as you fly away. Is there anything that you guys would like to do before I describe what happens next?
I think Zin grabs Cassie's hand, or at least reaches for her.
We'll hold hands.
I think Parable has his head between his knees and is in full butt scoot position. And if anyone will grab his hands, he'd be very appreciative.
Yeah, I think we could reach out between us,
Link
hold
an
him.
arm through each or something. Yeah, hold hands through his
I'm just swinging a little bit.
locked arms.
Through his locked arms. Yeah, we could go through him.
And I won't do it into the mic, but I'm screaming. I
Just give it 12 inches and...
I can press that. That's good. That's good. All right. Well, good for you that you didn't do much more than just grasp hands, as I thought you'd do that. Otherwise, this is a very, very, very tight system that Fall has put together.
It's like a single file moment.
You sense as you start to fall to the point where reverse gravity as a spell would typically fail, because the tree is taller than that. You feel the kind of subtle tug of gravity until another reverse gravity spell catches you in the tree that falls.
Like launch pads.
He set this thing to, like a rocket, have several layers of and you feel
or Parable
the tug.
Launch stages.
Yes.
Oh my god.
I threw up.
Yes, and you see and notice a series of wisps that gather around you. That Willow's voice kind of rings out from them, not in any sort of conscious or intentive way, but you hear the command that she's given this group of wisps, which is to do as the wizard says. And it's just kind of subtle. If you kind of pass your hand or part of your body through it, you hear her reluctant command to allow some of her very delicate wisps to be imbued with the spells that Fall casts. And so he has continually cast a spell that continue to change the direction as you go. You have a fuel tank of wisps imbued and enspelled with the magic of the wizard Fall as you rocket above the canopy of this willow, for it is that large, we'll call it a canopy, and enter the sky. Your trajectory slowly begins to shift into an arc towards the Domino Mountains. I'll ask you how you guys are situated as you truly enter the sky. Hands are held. Parable, are you still in butt scoot?
Yeah, because I'm just imagining if anyone's seen a golf ball that gets chopped and it goes up because it's got a backspin, I imagine the only reason why I'm not like doing these incredibly fast somersaults is because you guys are holding onto my hands.
Maybe you're doing it around our
Yeah,
arms, like,
kind of like causing a little bit of lift.
Okay, everyone give me acrobatics checks here.
Nice.
Woo.
Oh, I don't
4.
like that
Shout out to the 2 crew.
Ooh.
15.
15's great.
It's the cape. Do you want me to talk about the cape?
Ooh, yeah, let's talk about the cape. I'll give you a Arcana check or an investigation check to know more about the cape.
I got an 11, by the way.
So this acrobatics check is mainly to not experience the buffeting effects of the air. We're going to do another 2 acrobatics checks, and right now it's not really affecting you more, but that is 1 failure for you right here.
Okay.
And Cassie, what was that intelligence based check there?
The Arcana check was a 19.
Nice. You definitely know, based on especially the fact that you are charmed, but no longer as you break away from fall, you feel the conceptual layers of magic that he has imbued within this cloak and the several spells. You also, with that check, find through arcane senses, stuck in the threads of the inside of the jacket or of the inside of the cloak are 2 feathers. And I'll combine that check, and you know these to be tokens of Featherfall. Each are a single cast of the Featherfall spell.
Oh, neat.
Oh,
That's awesome.
that's cool.
Badass.
She's light as a feather.
Stiff as a board.
So my cloak, which is called the Cloak of Falling, has 5 charges, and while I wear it, I can use a bonus action to expend 1 or more charges to cast either jump or levitate.
Ooh.
The cloak regains 1d4 plus 1 charges daily at dawn. Wow. Very exciting.
Exciting.
Plus the 2 feathers. That's fancy. Levitate is a 2nd level spell, requires 2 charges, and jump the 1st. It requires 1 charge. The neat cloak.
Nice.
I thought so too. Yeah, I think you Cassie feel the cloak bolstering you in the air, making sure that it's just more aerodynamic than the typical cloak. And as you consider it with this Arcana check, you feel it morphing to your cosmetic perceptions. It was pretty patchwork. But if you looked closely, a lot of the crazy looking thread was actually really, really tiny runes that were sewed in with like just insane precision that they just looked like really crappy stitching.
I've always wanted a quilted coat.
Awesome.
So fun.
Thrifted.
As you look upon it, it does feel like it could shift to your cosmetic perception of what your idea of falling represents.
Oh.
So however you think of Cassie in that element, like weightless Cassie.
Cool. So I imagine when in a movie or a show, people are falling for so long that they end up like making poses like they're just standing still on the ground.
Fun.
Like that kind of vibe. Like
Okay.
she's leaning up against a fake wall or
Is your hair like
getting bored.
still?
Yeah, maybe the hair's moving, but like her body is just
That's
Relaxed.
so cool to think about. That it's,
butthole unclenched.
Still holding on the parable.
Yes. I don't know if I'm using it in this moment.
No, I don't think you are, but I love how you're flavoring that really good acrobatics check, because my instinct was like, oh, you're in flying mode, right? Like head forward, like, and everyone else can't figure that out, but you're
Mary Poppinsing. Mary Poppins.
yeah, you're like treating it like as the fall,
word.
as the expected fall, kind of like in the same way that when you guys pass through the illusory portal, just to take that extra step, you're just doing that with such poise. So cool to think about as, you guys are scrambling for a little bit, but another 2 acrobatic check here as you guys are flying miles, not with insane speed, but enough speed that the wind feels like it's starting to cut.
Can I cast guidance on myself?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'm going to do the same thing for one of mine.
13.
13 will not do it.
Throws a D4
great
off
guidance.
the table. I need a 4, I think, to... Okay. At 11? No.
11 will not do it.
Parable got a 12, and should I read my second one?
Yeah.
21.
Oh, damn. Okay, so you do save on the third.
Oh, you need 2?
Yep. Yeah, give me the second and the third.
Oh, fail twice.
Fail twice.
And I fail again. 7.
But we're holding hands.
You're
This is
holding hands?
acrobatics.
So dizzy.
Yes, acrobatics.
3.
Ooh, okay. So we
Cassie
had,
finally falters, dragging us along.
Zin, did you have 3 failures?
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay, 3 failures.
Yeah.
Cassie, did you had
1 success.
1 success. In Parable, you had 1 success right at the end there.
What was the check?
15.
14.
Ah, so rude.
Oh,
Um, But it's not to fall or be, tossed away from the group. This is truly just to accustom yourself to the rapid travel of flying through the air at rapid speeds. Per failure, I'm going to roll a D4 here. And so that's 1 failure. No, oh shit, Sin. I'm so sorry.
I am too.
I am rolling separately, so maybe I'll roll low for some of you. So that is going to be 9 damage, Zin,
Oh.
as you just cannot get. Akuma's like, what is this? What do I destroy? Does it feel like the air's thin up
I
here?
don't know.
I feel like I can't manifest as flame as easily.
I feel like we just need to take
Whooshu.
some deep breaths.
Did you see anything come out of my mouth just now? Whooshu.
Ow, not me. Ow, Akuma.
Cassie, that is going to be 7 damage, excuse me. And Parable, that is going to be 5 damage.
Nice.
Makes sense for a halfling.
We are kind of nimble.
My damage comes from I refuse to close my eyes or blink because I'm looking up still. So I'm just getting
Dry
particles, dry eyes.
So Cassie's looking up. What does she look? What's got her eyes so open? Like just the fact that
Curiosity killed the cat.
curiosity killed the cat.
Curiosity killed the cat.
Oh, no. Hopefully,
canon.
hopefully it doesn't hear.
No.
It is.
She just needs glasses.
It is, as we decided, your gleaning was kind of towards the mid-afternoon point. It is getting to be the latter part of the day. So as you soar ever higher, you break through cloud cover and you see a setting sun that was just
No, I don't.
Oh, no.
I was going to say, I think Zin says like, Parable, just open your eyes. It'll make it easier. I promise.
Don't open your eyes.
No,
Don't open your eyes.
Just a squeak so you can get your orientation.
Can I roll to see if I don't want to do this prepare. I think I want to roll to see if I would hear my friends, my new friend.
I want to do these in order. Cassie, give me a perception check for what you're seeing as you look up. We'll see if we get any there. And then, yes, give me what check you want here to see if you can hold your eyes open.
I want to make it so I'm trying to hear my friends. So like it's almost a self-induced, if they were rolling persuasion against me, what would I roll?
I would say insight or perception. Sorry, let's stick with Cassie first.
Yeah.
My perception was a 21.
Damn. Okay. As you are looking up, I think like the stars are just popping through. It's getting to be that dusk light where you can just barely see the brushing of stars, and just by the basis of the most primary and bright stars in the sky, you are charting your path. And I think know that with that check combined with the fact that, again, you had this sense of connection with the magic of fall, you know that your path is accurate right now. Give me one more intelligence check. Sorry, Parable, but we'll get there.
No, take your time.
Just raw intelligence.
22.
Damn. Okay.
Actually, nat 20.
Are you? Oh, fuck. Okay. The
dragon came. I gotta mute my computer.
This is Cassie's element. You are feeling in the rush of this. You found the true weightlessness of this. When you're falling for such a long time, it all becomes neutral. And as your body and brain become accustomed to it, you kind of calculate the amount of wisps, the pathing that you have along the chart of the stars, and you calculate out the amount of reverse gravity energy you have, and it's not enough by your understanding of where the Domino Mountains are and the Cenarin Valley. It'll get you close, But you also, I think with that intelligence check, notice that some of the wisps might start giving you an upward trajectory where you're just going to start falling. Like the landing is not a guaranteed part of this process at all. It is something that you're going to have to prepare for. The wisps are going to run out in midair much sooner than you get to the valley as you need to.
Does it feel like we're being launched?
Oh yeah, you've
Okay.
like quite a long way.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
tracking out the initial pathing, but it's not enough to get you all the way to the valley. So you might need to do some preparations to prepare for the fact that you're going to run out of sky gas.
Yes.
Anyways, as Cassie makes
Gas.
these
Cool.
calculations
Very
and
cool.
notices where you guys will really tracks out your trajectory. Parable, how are you dealing?
All right, so I'm gonna roll insight. That's a nat 20 plus 3.
Oh my God, what is with you guys?
I don't know.
What is that?
That is
The power of friendship is what the
I
fuck
did-
it
like-
is.
Bump.
Parable, you described to me.
Set.
What is that to you? You understand, obviously.
I think I feel for a moment the hands on my hands and the fear that you have when you step off a ledge and don't know what's going to happen. Imagine your eyes closed. And this being the scariest thing for Parable, I think there's a moment where that fright and that shake just by decision turns to laughter. And I think he just starts laughing euphorically, and he opens his eyes and he looks into the sunset and he opens his hands. And if I can I cast lay on hands to my friends here?
Totally, yeah. As the damage has, yeah.
Yeah, I think really the insight comes in he reflects on the coin. He just revowed his oath and reflects on the to be continued in his book. And he almost feels the words echo in his chest, and I think he just yells, "I'm continuing!"
this fall isn't the
Aw.
end.
And he puts his arms out like a very like Superman Naruto.
That's awesome. This is some real exposure therapy
Yeah.
for Parable, and
Yeah.
that was a great nat 20 to experience it.
And I think it's more, he almost feels the book in his satchel kind of just go and just like fall back flat.
So awesome. As the book is, just you hear its pages flapping settle to like a much, like it's still a rapid pace as the wind continues to beat, but a much less frantic, kind of like with your heart. As your heart settles, so too does the flapping pages of the book. As you guys continue to fly through the sky, we're gonna open this up to other checks now. You've kind of gained enough familiarity with this so that acrobatics doesn't necessarily matter as much here. You figured out the falling system, but Cassie's already figured out that gas is going to end soon. And as you guys enter the kind of the general aerial radius of the Domino Mountains, give me a perception check here.
22.
13.
24.
I need to start rolling on the computer.
Nice. 22 and 24 are the
I lied. It was a
only.
13.
Oh.
Doesn't matter though.
22 and a 24 are the only two to spot the danger that awaits. There is a cloud that hides amongst the other clouds, but this one is prismatic in nature. You see that with those checks, you're kind of able to view it at enough angles where you see the prismatic sheen of it and notice that it is moving with intent against the flow of the wind to block your path.
What's moving?
A prismatic cloud.
Okay.
As it does so, I'll give you guys a chance here to choose what you want to do to respond to this. And you can let Zin in on this.
Yeah, I'm just arguing with Akuma.
Yeah, do I have a sense with the insight roll? Can I access my good book for help in this moment?
Yes, but that will be your action before you foreseeably reach this thing that is very near on the horizon. It may be beneficial, especially with the fact that Cassie or Zin may be able to capitalize on the doing of something.
Mm-hmm.
I would allow you to like learn something and communicate to the group in a time
Cool.
to help.
I also wanted to not skip over the fact that you did lay on hands, and
Mhm.
what is that?
Ooh, good call.
As a bonus action, you can touch a creature, store a number of HP to the creature up to the maximum amount remaining in that pool. So I can just remove from this pool?
Yeah, you just
Wow.
get to decide.
Cool. I restore everybody up to full.
Sick.
Whoa.
That's
Thanks.
cool.
That
I've
was
never done
awesome.
that before. Thanks, guys.
Then kind of gets a thanks.
Parable, as you look to your book and having just cast Lay on Hands, how does Lay on Hands look first of all, and what does it look like as Parable looks towards his book?
First, I think it's a feeling of just pure joy. And I think that extends to the people around me, because I think this has been a journey for Parable to get anywhere and to be so free and flying. He's just not acknowledging the consequences and just feeling it. And I think the Lay on Hands almost comes off like golden Iron Man, like beams of light off his fingers and his hands. And
Badass.
I think it ripples almost through, it almost sends a ripple through the mist in the cloud. So like a sonic boom. And with the good book fluttering next to me, I'm curious to, with the insight roll and my perception where it's at, I'm curious if it will tell me how, if it will aid me in this with any kind of spell and action.
I would give you an Arcana check. To actually, with the good book here, we have mechanically talked about how the good book works. I would allow you a roll to see what spell is, or rather, what effect might have been inlaid with the words "to be continued." And if you'd like to roll for that now, I'd love to see that.
I think it's suiting.
Awesome. And for the viewers at home, we have patterned the abilities of Parable's good book after the necklace of prayer beads. Not in exactitude, but
That's cool.
in inspiration. Rather than read the description, instead of beads on a necklace, you are dealing with a book and its pages, and with the words inlaid, just like how the necklace of prayer beads stores spells to be discovered. You and your book will discover spells that you can use as a bonus action to see what magical effect was imbued in those words that were inlaid so permanently. So with the words "to be continued," what spell did you roll for the book?
I rolled a 15, and on a 13 to 16, that's the bead of favor, or greater restoration.
Oh, awesome. Great. So
Fitting.
great.
Hmm.
As you fill your party with the energy to go on, so too is the book kind of reinforced in the conceptual idea of to continue, to be continued, to always trudge forward as this party does. But rather than trudge, they fly through the air, falling at an ever increasing pace. Parable, what do you want? Do you want to do anything with that spell? That's actually your action here.
Yep.
Before the prismatic cloud arrives, but it does specify that it's a casting of a bonus action. So if you have any reason you want to cast that, I don't think there is one here.
No, I would hold it, and I would just honestly feel in the RP generation of it, I would feel that spell fulfill Parable as confidence to handle literally what's ever in front of him.
So good. As you see that the words that you've written truly make you feel a different way, more prepared, more ready to go. And Cassie, you are tracking this path. I will still give you guys both an action here.
I haven't seen the cloud, so I think I'm just arguing with Akuma.
Arguing with Akuma, is anyone filling in about the cloud?
Yeah, I might give Zen a squeeze.
I
Like,
think it's so beautiful.
What?
It's gorgeous. I'm just beaming forward.
That looks, we shouldn't be going towards that,
It's
right?
moving to us. It wants to
Yeah.
dance.
Parable, take a deep breath.
It just swallows a bug.
Oh, it's actually a wisp. It pops back out after blowing in your mouth for a little bit.
I only have so much gas. Sky gas.
Have you ever swished a wisp?
Oh.
I'm wondering what might happen if I cast daylight at the cloud.
Ooh, interesting.
Worth my time?
Not metagaming at all.
Worth
With
the
my
action?
time.
I can't. It would be an action to tell you.
No, that's fine.
For
or
the
an
listeners,
action-
he
an action-
winked
yeah.
at her. So.
Aw,
I'm lying.
I wish. Let's do it.
Okay.
Cassie's going to cast daylight at the cloud. So sunlight spreads from a point up, the point being us, and would fill a 60-foot radius sphere.
Oh, that's so cool.
It's a bright light and sheds dim light for an additional 60 feet beyond that.
I believe it's centered on your tools. I don't know if you can actually cast it to range. Can you?
Spreads from a point within range.
Oh, damn. Really?
So if that 60 feet is, or that 120 feet isn't within us yet, I would try and
awesome.
get it close.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Prismatic cloud, light. Tell me what happens.
I think
Rainbows.
In which direction, though, is what I'm paying attention.
Yeah, so far we've glown golden
do they
beams out of
cast?
us, and then we're glowing like a sun through the arcing sky.
We're not subtle.
what are you attempting to do as you cast light upon this cloud?
Trying to see if it reacts like a prism should.
Interesting. It does not. It reacts similarly, except the light never escapes. It bounces through it, but the light stays within it. You can actually see with that amount of light that you infuse within it, the like prison maze-like path that it has, and almost like the organ-like structure
Like
laid out within the cloud.
The rainbows are playing Tron in there.
Yeah, they're bouncing around, and with that
Ooh.
much light, you do truly spot that this thing is a sentient, like killing cloud, a thing that like is trying to swallow you whole into its cloud prismatic digestive system.
Jesus. And we're headed straight for it? We're gonna collide with
100%.
it?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah, you know that with your trajectory.
Guys-
It's also moving for that to happen.
Okay. I think Cassie would say, guys, we've got to move out of this course, and probably just starts like pulling on Zin or Parable to try and change our airflow, change.
I think I just say confidently, spin me.
Ooh.
So Zen, you're as the one really only left with the space and the time to do this, as this is communicated to you, you'll need to take the lead here on either, I'll give you options, either convincing the wisps with some sort of arcana or persuasion check to shift the trajectory, or to otherwise change these circumstances so that you are more mundanely or manually shifted. But that is the time that is allowed, and you're the only one that can move to do something here.
No pressure.
Akuma says, "Oh, what is that? Is that the holy light? Is that what you people are always talking about? Are we going to the holy light?"
It did look familiar there for a second, but I don't think this one's as nice.
Yeah, well, it was never really quite, it's nice on the surface, yeah, like charity and forgiveness at the asking of it, but
It
like,
always is.
yeah, it's not really nice
I
once you dig a little bit deeper, the fact that you're always thinking about, wow, do I need forgiveness at this moment? Like, should I feel guilty all the time? Yeah, maybe you should. No, Zin,
No, yeah.
not into the light. How many times do I need? My light, the flames.
Yeah. Speaking of that, it'd be really great if you could, I want to like hold, Akuma out to the side, or just put him towards a trajectory and have him, he can cast one of my spells.
Yeah, totally.
I want him to cast, he can cast any of my spells?
I think they have to be touch spells.
So not a cantrip either. They have to be.
No, they can be a cantrip.
Okay, Akuma, I know we haven't practiced this in a while, but do you remember that one time I was falling out of the willow and you did that like really, really fast blast of, was it a magic, or I don't know where it came from, but can you do that again, but like this way? And I like point, and I want him to cast Eldritch Blast and try to get like a rocket, like
Awesome.
change of trajectory.
Jetpack.
so sick. Absolutely.
And if you want me to roll to, I don't know.
I would allow you in arc.
Because I'm not trying to hit anything, but if you want me to use a mechanic to see if it actually works.
Well, okay, so we'll translate it this way: either Arcana to like cast the spell through Zin and using Akuma as a channeling so well, or a persuasion check to convince Akuma that I can use more than a wushu amount of fire, more than a wushu amount.
I think I'm going to cast Arcana, but I'm going to lean into that of everything you have, and as soon as you can. And I rolled an 12 Arcana check.
Okay.
Please.
Okay.
We've done it before, so maybe advantage.
I would cast guidance on you.
Oh, you might need it here.
I got holding hands.
I gotta calculate. Let me see here. Yeah, it's close.
I'll take a 16.
A 16 will do it as you are successfully able to dodge with Akuma.
I think she
squeezes.
kind of like holds him out. She doesn't need to hold him. He's smoky snake, but she just holds him out to the side and shuts her eyes and says, "Okay, now." And just like I'm still holding on to everyone.
Akin to the day of Zin's promising, when the flame of the candle turns into but a little ember into a roaring inferno, Akuma, his fiery visage grows in massive size as he stretches out across the sky for a moment and blasts this infernal flame with such force as to push you guys off. And as you see that you have blasted yourself to the side enough to dodge this prismatic cloud, it begins to chase. As your trajectory, corrected by the wisp, is still on the direct way, but it is following you as the forest and the valley of the Cenarin Valley of the Domino Mountains does actually start to come into sight here. But this thing is starting to chase. The speed it has is not enough to catch up. You guys are truly safe from it for the moment, but you've completed this part of the journey. The rest seems to be smooth sailing as you soar through the air, and the wisps kind of continue to die out one by one, continuing to cast this gravity, but you have a moment of rest with this thing chasing behind.
Can I roll a perception check for Zen to open her eyes and try to see? Like I shut my eyes and just kind of put my arm out. Can I try to see what Akuma, like if he like destroyed a forest, if he, like bird, like what? I just need to know.
Yeah, give me a perception check.
19.
Ooh, nice.
There was a V of, we'll say, eagle geese.
Oh no.
There was a V of eagle geese.
Akuma, no wushu fire for at least 3 days. Oh, at least 3 days.
Oh, but wasn't it fun?
No,
It's
it was
the
necessary. It was necessary. It was
circle of
necessary. It was
life.
necessary. It was necessary.
Well, yes, they're Akuma, having been used to many years of trying to make Zen feel better about something, says, "Well, maybe somebody will eat the burnt flesh of the terrible.
You're right.
I didn't feather them on the way down or anything, but maybe they'll be. That's what humans eat, right?
You're
Chicken."
right. It's the circle of life.
Same
it's the
thing.
circle of life. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. You just cooked it. Yeah. No. Okay. No, that's fine. Okay. You're right.
It's like a Costco rotisserie chicken.
I'm just imagining all these charred like eagle geese falling.
The deli comes to you.
Is that what they mean by well done?
Yes. Yes. And also, Akuma, thank you.
Oh.
What do you?
How do you be mean when you
What do
like
you want me to say?
Well,
do you want me
I
to
also
say
didn't
here?
thank you for when I fell out of the tree, and so thank you. Just thank you.
Wow. Well,
You're not so bad all the time.
one day we're gonna take over the world, and he.
No, we're gonna change the world. We talked about this.
Right back, burn it all down.
All right. Is there anything that you guys want to do as your trajectory starts to finish up here? You've got maybe 1 or 2 wisps before the fall starts truly happening. You do actually get to just about the border of the mountains. Like, mountains as they are, they seems like they're forever arriving until you finally get to what looks like from an aerial view about just a little bit in front of you, maybe half a mile or so, is truly the edge of the mountain range. And a little bit further off is the Cenarin Valley.
And it seems like the light prism monster, the light beams are going to catch up to us before we're able to land.
No, it doesn't have the speed, but I'll offer you another perception check to see if it's still following as you're nearing the end of your flight here.
15.
It's pretty far off in the distance at this point, but 15 is enough to notice that it's continuing to follow.
Right.
It doesn't have the movement speed to catch up during this trip, but
Okay.
who knows
But maybe once we
how
land.
long it might follow.
Okay. What if I use one of my feathers to help push us the rest of the way there?
Might not be a bad idea.
Or control our landing a little bit?
Might not be a bad idea. You can see as you pull out one of the feathers, it's kind of somehow shaped into an arrow. And you can sense that to cast this, you might want to point this thing in the direction that you hope gravity to be assisted in.
Okay, cool. I think I try real hard to fish one out of my pocket and point it towards...
You hear the wizard fall, not down! Just not down and you'll be good.
Towards the inverse upwards angle from the edge of the forest.
Awesome. I will give you an intelligence check here to I have a based on like what has happened so far, I have a spot in mind of where you guys are landing. And I would offer you more like gliding time if you do this well.
It's an 8.
Not unfortunately not enough to get much more trajectory out of this, but you do safely assist your fall. What does the feather token actually specifically do?
Yeah, it allows me to take no damage from falling.
Amazing. Cassie appears very ready for the descent.
Great.
Is it something that we can hold on to?
Could it apply to our group?
You could choose to like hand it to like someone else and have them use it, or you wouldn't take no damage if you were just casting it for yourself and like people were holding on to you. I would maybe lessen the damage, but it's a pretty crazy fall.
I have Misty Step, so if I'm within 30 feet of the ground, I can use that. So
Cool.
Don't worry about me.
Awesome.
I don't think I can bring anyone with me, even if you're small.
Parable.
Sorry, Parable.
What if we combine our abilities?
I'm very happy, but I'm tiny and I will hurt when I hit the ground.
A mini meteor.
I'm flying to the whole tuck and roll and the air.
Sparks.
No, I am going as aerodynamically as possible. Just head down.
You guys have kind of been streaking a light across the sky.
Yeah, we're
as you
still.
fall
I'm
towards
like
the
wondering what
forest.
lore we've accidentally added to this land because we're
Well,
another
there's a
star.
kid in a field looking up at us.
Yeah,
So it's canon.
But yeah, I think you feel in the grip, at least, of Parable's hands, the excitement, but also the nerves as the ground comes closer. That's the only I don't think I communicate that I can't save myself because of the euphoria I'm in.
Oh God.
I do have a -1 to strength, but I can try to catch you.
What if Sin caught me?
I think Sin is gonna. Oh no.
But yes, Cassie, you did get 2 tokens of feather fall.
I did. I'm going to use my cloak instead.
Oh, okay, cool, badass.
Cool.
Awesome. So Cassie, as you're falling,
Unless we feel like we need the...
no, it's totally up to you. I will reset in. You have 2 feather fall tokens and your cloak. Which would you like to use? As Cassie falls, is there anything Cassie would like to use to assist her fall?
Yes, I would love to use my shiny new to me cloak of falling.
Lovely. What is
Probably a levitate charge or a double charge levitate spell.
I think that's perfect to use as you feel ready for the fall. Similar to feather fall, levitate will prevent any sort of damage that you could possibly take from falling.
I can also levitate a target that weighs up to 500 pounds. Could that be the 3 of us together?
Interesting. You'd have to all squeeze into the coat.
Well,
Not a problem for Parable.
can levitate a target.
Oh, you can levitate a target with the coat? Really?
One creature or loose object of your choice that you can see within range rises vertically up to 20 feet and remains suspended there for the duration. The spell can levitate a target that weighs up to 500 pounds. An unwilling creature that succeeds on a Constitution saving throw is unaffected. The target can move only by pushing or pulling against a fixed object or surface within reach.
So you can pause Parable in the air, and then I can get under him and try to catch him from 20 feet.
This feels like a lot of flavor. I'm loving a lot of room for flavor. This is the tofu spell.
So what's the range there?
60 feet.
Just for flavor, even if you don't expend one of your feathers charges, I'm still imagining Cassie doing this cool 6 spin. The cloak kind of flares out. You throw an arrow at the cloud almost, and kind of almost, float in this umbrella kind of pattern and wrap up us in the cloak. I'm just imagining it very purposeful looking.
Yeah.
It's cool.
That's very generous of you. I'm not sure
Fantastic.
Cassie would be that grateful or graceful in this moment.
We just
but-
didn't run into you.
So activating the cloak to currently levitate yourself, right? And to prepare for Parable's fall.
Yeah, you can change the target's altitude by up to 20 feet in either direction.
What's the duration?
10 minutes.
Awesome. I think that if you work this out right, we'll say it's a
When the spell ends, the target floats gently to the ground as if it is still aloft.
Awesome. Okay. Cool. So I would.
So we just have to wait for 10 minutes.
Well,
it's okay, Parable. It's okay. Deep
You
breath,
can
buddy.
use your action to move the target, which must
okay.
remain within the spell's range. So this is quite a long spell with a lot of components. It seems like you can kind of, like I said, the tofu of this.
You can season it anyway.
Yeah, a lot of flexibility.
Awesome. So do you want to use? I would say that's going to be multiple charges to levitate you all as a group, or you can use your Featherfall tokens to supplement.
But it says a target that weighs up to 500 pounds.
Okay. Okay.
Levitate does take 2
and we're
charges.
holding hands.
Okay. Levitate.
And we're friends.
But a single target up to 500 pounds. So you guys have to somehow make yourself a single target is what I'm saying.
We are interconnected.
Holding hands is not making yourself a single target.
Fine,
okay,
fine.
you
Okay.
give Parable a hug. I'll Misty Step.
Would that work?
Parable small enough, I would allow him
little boy.
similar to how halflings are able to hide
Little
behind
spoon.
a creature. I would allow you to also be under the effect.
I'm tandem
of,
parachuting just with Cassie on my back.
Okay, just fantastic. So you guys described to me as the edge of the forest is just a little bit off, but the mountains below start to become rugged and stretched with more rock than green. What does it look like as you fall?
I think speaking of tandem parachuting, when I cast this, or when I use the Cloak of Falling to cast Levitate, it's that action where the skydiver opens his parachute and is just suddenly like,
Awesome.
whoa. And I think that's probably scary for both of us.
I think it shocks Parable and he gets the stomach back and he kind of almost wakes up and he looks, how higher up are we right now?
You guys were at probably an altitude of about like 1,500 feet, slowly descending. You hit about 1,000, and then I would ask you, when do you want to kick it in? As like
Pull the chute.
you're hitting between 1,000 and 500.
I was going to say 20 feet off the ground.
20 feet. Oh my good God.
No, I mean,
I
I'm
have
just
to wait till I'm 30 feet up before I can Misty Step.
That is kind of a good point that Zin would have to shoot past if you're activating that any higher up in the air.
I kind of love waiting. It's kind of like just speeding towards the
we
ground.
are having a moment of like, this is it.
Akuma
is
says, "You've got good friends. They're literally like when somebody says, or I spied on you a lot as good as you know, and when your parents would say, if your friends would jump off a bridge, would you jump off a bridge too? You've got some friends that are literally kind of doing that, you know?
You're so right.
It's crazy. We've come so far.
We have come so far. We're also falling really fast.
Really fast.
Really
You should be paying
fast.
more attention.
Lost in thought, speeding
Yeah.
bullet. Just
Zin's like trying to do mental math. Like, okay, like what? Okay, like I think she's aiming at like. So we said like the edge of the forest is ending.
Yeah, you guys are just like the forest is just a little bit far off. You guys aren't like falling through trees and stuff. You're falling onto rocky ground beneath. So there isn't much to catch onto as you fall.
At the edge of the forest,
At
right?
the edge of the forest. And so as you fall, actually, I think Misty Step might actually have a snaggle here because you fall instantly per D&D rules. And once you hit the 500 mark, that's when a fall becomes considered instant over 6 seconds. So since it's not a reaction, this is going to be a DC.
Misty Step is also instant.
Wait, fair enough, but it's not a reaction. Oh, well, I guess you have this prepared. Yeah, you have this prepared, but I'm still gonna make this a DC 5 Arcana check.
Oh boy. For everybody?
No, just for Zin, who is using a spell that isn't necessarily perfectly built for the scenario.
13.
Just scared me for sure.
Awesome.
That was a 3.
And I'm hoping Oh, I guess with Misty Step, I don't need to land soft. I can still just look at a place on the ground that's unencumbered and go there. One would hope.
Yeah. What does Zin's Misty Step look like as Parable and Cassie float ever so softly after a sudden shift upwards from the weightlessness of the cloak?
I think Zin just kind of poofs into black smoke and then poofs back onto the ground.
Oh, I like the
absolutely clutching her chest, like,
wow,
that was so close.
I suddenly have such like a close, like you're falling through the air and then suddenly it's that cinematic shot like near the ground where you guys come into frame first softly and then you see the as you are like suddenly the first thing in the frame, like fuck.
Yeah, it feels almost like like my arms are like twirling like arms and legs like and then I just land maybe like clutching my chest or like on my stomach still flailing, like it's just like I go from here to there.
I imagine the poof of smoke that you make keeps its acceleration at the point that you make, so when you land you get there and it goes like kind of cascades around you.
Cool.
So even though you look a little, you're kind of spoopy cool.
Okay, pretend I thought that and said it, and that's what happens.
But I do think that as soon as you pulled the chute on your cloak, I think Parable kind of wakes up from his euphoria and immediately like wants to vomit and is like looking down at this 20 feet.
I'm realizing you're probably wearing me as a backpack.
Yeah.
Like this tiny little person and then this big poof of hair, like
little spooning.
It wouldn't be a campaign of ours without a baby Bjorn.
It's true.
It's true.
I will you guys know that there are many dangers within the unclaimed lands, of which you are within, even being in the Cenarin Valley. As you all land safely, fully healed, first, if you would like it, I will offer you a short rest.
I would take a short rest.
Yes, please.
Awesome. Go for it.
Wow.
And outside of that, I will also offer you a history check if you would like, or any other check that you would like to do to become more familiar with the surrounding area.
Can I do an Arcana check to see how the sky looks from here?
Absolutely.
21.
With a 21, as we are approaching nighttime, we are just getting to the tail end of twilight. You look up towards the sky, the true velvety black of the canvas of the night sky has come out and the white pinpricks of the star are up there. But there's something kind of occluding your vision. You wouldn't notice it if you weren't as familiar with looking at the stars. With a 21 and an Arcana check, as you stop and stare at the night sky, you feel this kind of draw to look in certain areas. You don't succumb to it because you're not there long enough, but your senses are so keen in this moment that you sense this like very subtle enchantment upon the sky in this area that to look upon it for too long might draw one to a specific wish wanting to be made. And instead of that person wishing what they would wish for, there's like these patches in the sky that have these like conceptual feels and magic that say that want to be wished upon, stars that want to be wished upon, calling for people to wish. And you don't succumb to it, but you feel that if you continue to stare for maybe another 10 minutes even, you might have to like really bolster your mind or fall under the effects of looking upon a star that who knows what you might wish for.
Interesting.
It seems like looking upon the stars might be a little bit more dangerous than Cassie is used to here.
Yeah.
Good check to start.
That's really unnerving. I think I would kind of communicate to my pals here, like the skies here are suspiciously seductive.
What? Where?
Be mindful of how long you choose to look up.
Is the prism cloud following us?
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's still glowing though, so we'd see it in the night, right?
Oh fuck!
I'd roll for
daylight.
perception.
Is daylight still going?
Daylight is
10 minutes, I think. So I think it might be
1 hour.
Oh, fuck. God damn it, y'all.
Go, Cassie.
You see like a slow comet of a shooting star. Something is tracking your trajectory exactly as I misspoke. There is something lighting up this dark velvet sky.
Oh no, it's just
And
glowing. I just
Oh
imagine
my
like an alien
God.
ship kind of like.
I think it looks like a massive burning comet.
Ooh.
Like with the amount that this cloud trails, it's the essence of it behind, and combined with the prismatic shifting of the light, I think it looks up the most fucked up slow-mo comet that you can possibly picture as it bathes the ground beneath it as it gets lower and lower to the ground with an unearthly multicolored light.
Sorry, guys. I shouldn't have said anything. No, you definitely should have. Yeah, for the listeners.
Who asked
They
if
would
our
call us out.
homework was done?
Yeah, tracks. Yeah, that tracks.
I think Parable shakes the stars out of his eyes, literally, and looks around, does a quick heave into the grass, stands up, wipes his lips, and says, "All right, anybody know where to go? I don't really want to stand under that too much longer."
I think we just have to continue towards the mountains. Isn't that where we're going?
Zin, you are reminded of the piece of paper that spells out. your
Oh,
mission.
oh yeah. Wait. I came so prepared. Pulls out the paper and says, "Sagacious, that's who we're looking for in the mountains."
You just see Parable's head hopping and trying to get a view of, guys, hey, I can't see.
Oh, sorry. Cross legs on the ground.
Full stance.
Yeah.
I will offer you guys a survival check if you guys want to start making headway towards any point or any other things that you might want to do during this moment. You've taken a little bit of a short rest, have learned that these mountains and the unclaimed lands themselves are nothing to be trifled with.
18.
18.
That one.
Oh no.
Modified 2.
Cassie, please.
5.
Is it once per long rest that your curse takes effect only?
I thought it was every nat one.
I don't think it's every nat one.
Parable got a 13.
Okay.
More safe.
These intrusive echoes can't manifest again until you finish a short or long rest.
Oh shit. Okay. Yeah. So having just completed a short rest, your curse does
For
once
no
more.
reason.
That was he set us up. That was no.
Yeah,
from
yeah.
now on,
You
I am
knew.
second
You
guessing.
knew.
I am second guessing every
Never
short
taking
long
a short rest again.
No, I'm staying awake.
Oh my god.
Insomniac halfling.
That is good to know. I'm gonna have to be choosy.
Yeah.
As this cosmic song takes over your mind, I'll ask you first to roll and please describe what it's like in this moment that maybe Cassie does feel the charming of the stars here.
Roll my d6, you mean?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. You perceive a different time or place overlapping your surroundings. Your speed is halved until the end of your next turn.
Cassie, you have been here before. Suddenly, as you guys start making your way, led by Zin with an excellent 18, you
I have a map. Rub it in.
also have Parable, who has heard enough tales of the forest to help you along the way. Cassie, however, seems to start lagging as vision overtakes you for a moment here, Cassie, and suddenly your hand is being held at an angle that doesn't make sense. Someone so tall. You haven't had someone, oh, you are small once more. As you hear your father's voice say, "Now, we're not supposed to be out here, but Star Watch Tower isn't far off, and they've offered me a position there. And I think I just wanted to look upon the stars before. I'm going to get much busier, Cassie, and it's always been hard for me. No matter. Anyways. And you are overtaken by a memory of your father having brought you out to look upon the stars as he had been offered a position at the nearby Star Watch Tower. Not in Cenarin Valley, but just a little bit further by the way of the river Sibyllin. Which, coincidentally, you remember with that nat 1 leads right through the Cenarin Valley. The Cenarin Valley is on the way to Star Watch Tower. Cassie, you are lagging behind this group, and Zin and Parable, with your passive perceptions, unless you are completely and utterly, not paying attention, Cassie is lagging behind.
What an experience to suddenly feel the shock of, oh, I've been here before. And last time it went really poorly for me and my growth as a person, and how much time I got to spend with my one remaining nurturer and caretaker.
Yeah.
It's a little probably traumatic to be back in a place that was kind of the catalyst for that distance from family.
Cassie, as you are feeling all of this emotional turbulence, to say the least, Zin and Parable you see as the fading of the star song. This is kind of a pretty quick effect, but that it is noticeable to Parable and Zin. And so as you feel the fadings of this vision leave and you see them looking back at you, is there anything that you communicate in this moment? I would offer you guys insight if you want to roll for it, but to you, it might look like that Cassie is just kind of taking a moment. She could be taking a moment for anything, but she seems to have gained clarity as she comes to herself.
Parable was looking down and walking slowly and kind of dragging his long sword and want to make a small map in the soil just to kind of almost sympathetically draw how far away from home he is in perspective. And while he does that, I think he does look back at Cassie. And can I roll an insight?
Yeah, absolutely. Cassie, what does it feel like as you're coming back to and you see Parable seems like drawing on the ground and looking at you keenly?
I think I try and brush it off like I just was distracted, or kind of processing where we were, kind of like shaking my head and hard blinking my eyes and pretending to just like have been out of it and be coming back to for a second.
Awesome. Not taking the space or time to explain, Cassie seems cool, calm, and collected as she regathers herself. What is your insight roll there, G?
Parable got a 7. So I look back at Cassie, I think, with just a glance, and you fully convince me. And I just kind of look longingly down at this X that I made, which is it's kind of a feeling for Parable, like kind of sharing in the camaraderie of just having moments of just before we stepped another step forward, that like, wow, this is how far I've already come. And this is technically a divergence from my main goal and path under my oath. So I always feel like I'm keeping track of how far away from and almost like kind of dot my sword away from the X and look back to Cassie and then follows in.
Having made this map upon the ground and marked it with home, Cassie, you walk past and obviously notice the stylized map that Parable has drawn. Any comments as you pass?
I think nothing as I pass, but when I catch back up eventually, I think I'd probably just put a really gentle hand on both of their shoulders. Like, I'm back. Thanks for leading the way. Thanks for helping me get here. We're not close enough yet to both for Parable to like really perceive what I'm going through, or Zin to perceive what I'm going through, but also we just went through this insane experience together. So there's some camaraderie.
Yeah, I think as soon as you put your hand, I jolt because I'm still jumpy from everything. And I was just thinking about home. Oh, hey, Cass. Thanks for... it's hard to be a little guy.
It is hard to be a little guy. Thank you, P.
Could we not tell anybody that it happened that way?
For now. Someday.
Thanks, Cass.
I think the saying goes, we'll laugh about it. And maybe then we'll be ready to tell what really happened.
Yeah, I think Parable kind of looks down and looks back up and then looks forward.
As you look forward, you see whoosh of fire, whoosh of fire, whoosh of fire. As Zin is, of course, pretty gifted at leading the way. Zin, anything that you're doing here as Akuma is, fully convinced that he is the reason that you are getting through this forest safely. Nothing will mess with the god of destruction that is Akuma.
I think every time I hear Akuma's voice, I picture him smaller and smaller and smaller. Like he's compensating so cutely.
What are you talking about?
He's just a worm on my shoulder.
Yeah, he like, used up all his shadow fire, and now he's like just this little worm.
Don't call me that.
I think Zin is choosing her battles and kind of just letting Akuma do his thing while she's like squinting at this parchment. Like, man, Mojo's handwriting. I mean, he's a rabbit, but this is really scrawled. And
Really
usually, I mean, he leaves me notes around the wells sometimes, but wow, this one came in a hurry. And I'm like just really trying to squint at it and just kind of following wherever Akuma's leading us.
With that 18, it does feel like Akuma's kind of leading the way, but there's something about this area that's starting to feel familiar. You know, maybe you weren't exactly tracking the trajectory exactly, but with that survival check and combined with the fact that, you know, maybe there was one time, Esther, and you guys snuck out of the domain of the Enuluse, the people of the holy light.
Dang it.
Youth catching up to you.
But not located within the Cenarin Valley by any means, but kind of similar to Starwatch. This is probably the furthest that you ever would have traveled away from home.
It was a really cool rave. Like, you should have been. It was worth the risk.
It's cool.
Yeah, I think Zen looks up from the paper and kind of just maybe like halts for a second. It's like, oh, weird, and just keeps walking. Like, I think I turn to Cassie and say, "You're good with the stars, right? Can you tell like the direction we're going? I have a feeling it's this way. I think, but after
it's definitely
that,
this way.
but after that, I'm not so sure. I'm just wondering."
Yeah. Cassie kind of blinks the rest of her fogginess from that memory away and remembers, feels a little bit silly for not remembering sooner, like, oh, yeah. And she pulls out her astrolabe of direction.
No check needed. You fully map out what Zen
Like the
would
vibes
need.
are that way, but like for how long?
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. And I think what you're able to map out exactly is how long the mountain range extends, combined with the fact that you had that memory. It makes a lot of sense that you know that where there's a certain point, similar to how you would travel along the River Sibyllin through the Cenarin Valley and take one way to get to Starwatch. It's similar distance at the end of that river to go the other way to get to your community.
So we're arcing through the sky and we land in indiscernible area at first, but it's close, hopefully, where the Wizard Fall sent us to Starwatch Tower, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm imagining traveling further than to make this turn that you're talking about, or is it traveling backwards into the direction that we came from?
You know that the Starwatch Tower hands were sent to the Cenarin Valley.
Yeah.
That is between you and Starwatch Tower.
Okay.
So to travel through the Cenarin Valley in the attempts to either get to Starwatch, it would still make sense to look for these tower hands that have somehow like gone missing in the valley.
Yeah. So we want to make it to the valley first. Yeah.
Through the valley to get to Starwatch.
Yeah. Yeah. Are we still on the same continent? Have we traveled over land or large amounts of water? Or?
You guys are about 2 or 3 days by foot.
Okay.
Which would be, I would imagine, somewhere between how much can it's like some 60 to 75 miles away from the domain that serves as the boundaries around the village of Two Wells. Starwatch Tower does serve as its own mini domain. The idea of a domain doesn't just only extend to a population of people. It could extend to any sort of group that has the magical prowess to prevent or defend against this. So although domain might make you think of a large spot of land, the Starwatch Tower is technically its own little domain.
Cool.
Like the Vatican City.
It's really dawning on Parable as he looks up and around him, the mountainous surroundings and the almost what feels like chaotic nature around him. And he's following foot and listening to the directions and everyone's talking, but I'm imagining for the first time in a long time, Parable is feeling grateful that he's small and that he can hide behind his friends.
So good. Are you continuing to do that? Have you left Cassie's side much since she?
No, I think I'm walking kind of behind them, between them, and in the very halfling feet way, just kind of ignoring, but using their presence to kind of keep myself covered.
Awesome. You guys are doing a great job moving through based on Zin's survival check. You guys are nearing towards the actual valley itself. You've navigated the woods fairly well. This is going to be one more survival check to get to the valley proper and avoid more dangers of these unclaimed lands.
Nice. That'd be a nat 1, but I'm a halfling, so it's a 2.
No, you get to re-roll.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm so cool. All right, I'm learning things. Yay, parable. That's a 2.
It doesn't have much room to roll in there, G.
Yeah, it was next to a 20. It spun.
It's a halfling box.
Oh my God, that is so
Tragic.
It's tragic.
Oh my God.
That's like the worst thing you could do as a halfling, I think, is roll a 1 and then roll a 2.
Oh
Happens
my
to the
God.
smallest of us.
All right. Jesus Christ.
I got a 12.
I got an 11.
With those survival checks, the night is starting to creep on in this forest and light is very sparse. And that is not enough to get through this forest without more danger occurring. The valley is starting to really become apparent as the mountains rise on both sides almost to a claustrophobic degree. You have entered the true slot of this valley. This is going to be an encounter check. Who wants to roll it?
Oh.
Do you add a modifier to an encounter check?
Nope, it's flat d20 and anything above a 10 succeeds. Above.
12.
Nice.
Awesome. That is going to successfully avoid this encounter, but it will be I think somewhat of a close call here. So I will actually offer you guys a perception check to see what danger has just narrowly passed the group.
17.
5.
24.
Oh. Parable's looking straight down.
The bounce back of Cass is insane.
I gotta roll what danger might have occurred
From
here.
cursed to alive.
Oh my God. Zin, I think that's enough to hear the screams.
Oh.
Cassie, I think that's enough to know you should not turn back. As you hear something that is pounding through the forest, and you look up to the sky, and no longer is that cloud in the sky. You now have what appears to be some sort of brightly glowing, and to your elven sharp eyes, humanoid prismatic being marching through the forest. And as you hear the screams of some would-be adventurer, they call out behind you as this danger is upon them.
Yeah, Zin is like, we have to help them, and it turns around and starts to run back.
Cassie grabs Zin's shoulder.
Parable
What?
does too.
Wait, no,
They can't be helped.
but we have to help
I'm
them.
sorry,
We have to
Zin.
go.
We have to try.
We have to
can't.
go, Zin.
They're gone already.
You can't hear it anymore.
The screams have ceased.
I'm sorry, Zin.
Sorry, Zin. We have to keep going.
It's okay. It's
We'll
okay.
save more if we keep moving forward.
You're right.
Cass, pull her with
You're right.
me.
You're right. Okay.
Damn. And you guys continue onward, avoiding that danger. Excellent stuff.
Not avoiding
So it begins.
the emotions.
Narrowly avoiding.
Here we go.
Oh, dear.
Getting real.
Were we within 30 feet of that traveler?
It was such a close call. No, you would have had to take some movement towards it, I think.
Okay, I was going to ask about possibly using one of my Oath Stone's abilities of record sensation of the fallen traveler so that I could get a grip on what this thing is.
I think you'd have to go and inspect it.
Nope.
Yeah.
No, I'm pulling us in.
Yeah,
Never
turn
mind.
back.
You're not pulling us in.
Yeah, no, I let go. I just run. I'm still holding Zin, pulling with Cassie.
As you guys turn back, the light does seem to dim as the screams die. So does this odd prismatic light that filled the forest for but a moment.
Maybe it's not hungry anymore and it won't keep chasing us.
It's gonna keep chasing us.
Let's not stick around to find out.
Okay. Yeah, no, you're right. Let's I have a vague memory of this place, I mean, it's dark, and it was dark the last time I was here, I think, but if we stay along the river, I mean, it'd be easier to walk.
That sounds right.
Any place is better than here, and you both seem like you know best. And Parable hides a little bit behind one of the legs as he's pulling.
Okay, let's keep moving.
Yeah.
It's getting dark. I'm afraid.
It is getting dark.
Would you fire? Would you fire? Would you fire?
Would you fire? Yeah. Akuma continuing to light up the way. You guys are through the most dense part of the forest. There is now space and soft enough greenery amongst the rough rock to find comfortable camp. It is about that time of night that one of reasonable disposition would want to sleep. Are you guys leaning towards that way at all, or are you guys trudging on?
You want to get cursed again? I'm down to keep going.
Awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it has been a long day.
I want to get cursed again.
I do have a question. Speaking of, it has been a long day. Does it feel like it is accurately nighttime?
Yeah.
Okay.
Night
Just
has
making
fallen.
sure.
I also
Interesting. Yeah, as you do confirm that that is a good thing to look out for here, that the weather and sky itself might be lying in some cases.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
I think too, I just had this image when we were talking about Akuma, like setting the fires, like as it's getting dark, our torch isn't like permalit. It's flashing. So as we're walking,
Strobe.
it's like, yeah, right. Like we're like, oh, we get a glimpse of like, oh, there's a boulder. Oh, shoot. You know, and like kind of like go around and like, oh, watch that one. Oh, Parable. Oh,
We're conga lining it.
Yeah. Which like we could very much make a torch, but I think we're all just a little struck. And
I've
just
stubbed
like, this is
every
what
toe
we're doing.
on my body. Will you please let me behind you?
Let him have this.
Yeah. I promise it'll be so much more annoying if I don't let him do this right now. Akuma, that is. Parable, come on.
That is a good point. As Akuma is lighting up the night and continuing to do so, I'll roll here 1 second. I will offer everyone he's got advantage. I'll offer everyone a perception check to see what pops out of the woods here in front of Akuma.
Sorry, I saw your roll and I thought it was mine. I got half of what Cass got.
24.
Oh my
12.
I got a 5 again.
Cassie, there's something about your keen eyes looking through this forest
In the dark. I have dark vision.
as you are able to spot and hear in the movement of the forest even before. What pops out of the green forest is a man who seems of adventurous disposition upon immediate first sight, as he has a wide-brimmed hat, a flaring duster, bright red in color. He takes a swordsman's stance and points out with a needle-like rapier as he says, "On hand, Lemillion Lodestar, leader of the band of Wishmasters. I seek my men. What have you done with them? I heard the screams."
Can I parable in this moment? Because we're strobing, right?
Yes, Wushu fire is continuing to go off in this man's face as he holds a rapier at all of you and says, "I am Lemillion Lodestar, leader of the Wishmasters."
Cassie growls like this is inconvenient.
Yeah, I click. I think Parable stands up as tall as he can from behind Zin and Cass and clicks his sword pen, completely different than he was a moment ago, and with stern eyes and a furrowed brow, strikes his pen blade up against the sword and says, "It is none of your business. We have a place to be."
Wait, no, it is my business. They're my men.
We are not here for your men. We are here on a mission, and you need to be out of our way.
Well,
We also heard the screams, though. I'm so sorry for your loss.
what?
You said you heard. You said
You killed
heard
my
the
men and
scream-
you're saying sorry?
No, see, okay. There's this thing following us, and we think
We could
it's-
have killed your men.
We didn't, though. We didn't. I push like Parable's pen sword down. Like we didn't kill anybody. Now, we heard the screams too. I wanted to help, but they wouldn't let me.
Sir, we are terribly sorry. A beast beyond our size and capability came up behind us and seemed to find your men before it found us.
No
It is-
beast, no
it is-
beast of the land would ever claim my men tart, sweet and salt.
It is not of this land. It is a cloud.
What?
It is a cloud. He is being honest. Go look for yourself. See your men.
No, you can't say that.
Say what?
To go look for it. We know
Well,
what
he will
happened.
quickly realize that we
The
are not
screams.
bloody enough to have done this.
He'll be off our hands for sure.
Oh my gosh.
We're
gonna need Wishfire,
Pen blade whipped out. Parable. As your blade is on his, you can see it's itching. You see his kind of blade is just kind of starting to dance with yours a little bit more as he is really.
Doing little circles. We're doing little circles.
Can someone give me a persuasion check? I don't.
Yeah,
fucking,
I can roll persuasion.
I'll do an insight check here for him. That's a 7 on the die. This guy's got no fucking idea what's going
18.
on. Okay. He takes a moment. He doesn't immediately dive into initiative and say, for tart, for sweet, for salt. And instead he says, point me to where my men were last heard and I will find them.
Then just like really tentatively, like just points behind us, like that way. I do suggest to be careful. The screams did not sound good.
Nobody is as quiet as Lemillion Lodestar, leader of the Wishmasters, master of wishes. And he sneaks off into the woods, not so sneakily.
I think Zen whispers under her breath, I promise to remember you. Aw.
Parable clicks his pen and he's like, good riddance.
Oh my good God. Is that really how this is going to go down? Is this you? Will you continue walking and you hear another scream? I'll roll.
Oh
for-
my God.
What did you want us to do here, Rob?
I'll roll. I'm gonna roll some stealth checks over here.
Rob stayed up all night writing this NPC. He was so excited.
I do think in like before the sheath and in crossing swords, I do cast guidance on this poor soul that I can see in their, if you let me see in their eyes that they're going to go after these men. I do because we would have went to blows if we needed to. We knew what we were doing. And so I do think there's an exchange of hope there.
As you cast guidance upon him, what does it look like as you hear him muttering as he sneaks off into the brush and he says, oh, I'm going to find my men. They owe me so much gold and I can't believe I meant sweet. Hold on to it. You immediately see in that moment that this is not emotion driven, but rather one of my men was carrying all of our winnings and loot.
I think in just helping him a little, he's about to walk into a tree and as guidance like really takes hold in his body, he like looks up, he's oh, okay. And he goes the other way.
Okay. So I rolled, this is thematic because I rolled a 10 for the perception check and I rolled a 7 for his stealth check. So he needs this D4 of guidance. Ooh.
I will remember you.
With a 3.
Oh.
He meets it and
we will
meets it.
speak again.
And although you hear a scream, it's more of like a quickly stifled as you see the much more dimmed light of a humanoid figure and him crouched down behind a tree like,
Oh,
What? Master of wishes.
Lemillion Lodestar. What was that thing? That was terrifying. And he continues on to probably find, hopefully, maybe, probably not, the corpses of his men. But you guys continue.
Can we call out just like, catch up to us if you want?
Cass,
Just something.
Cass, sometimes you can't guide a fool.
Oh. I have a feeling we're going to learn that lesson a lot more.
Lemillion Lodestar leads the way, trailblazer extraordinaire. As he continues into the forest, we might see Lemillion Lodestar
Light
once
bless him.
more, but it is truly getting to the dead of night as you guys have made your way through the forest and has opened up into the valley proper. I will offer you guys one more perception check here to see what you stumble upon.
10.
This is 17.
22.
Bad gas.
My
Damn.
luck will run out. I have a
Don't say that.
feeling.
17 is enough to spot the small cottage. I think 22 is more than enough to spot the small ring around it that looks subtly different than the surrounding landscape. You can almost see, now that you're looking at it, a bubble. Just so truly like a bubble that you would blow and watch drift upon the air. That same kind of iridescent shimmer that is just only noticeable if you're really looking for it.
Well, that looks cozy.
And the river is also starting to creep away from the cottage and starting to turn in a certain direction. At this bend of the river, at this cottage, would you guys like to investigate further?
I could use a break. I think we could check it out. We could see.
Are we really gonna walk up to the house and just go in there?
We're not gonna go. We're gonna knock
on the bubble first.
Strobing with weird ghost dragon fire.
Well, Akuma, hey, we're gonna rein it in. We're gonna approach the house.
Akuma, can you go lantern mode?
Oh yeah, we've been practicing
less,
that,
but for longer.
This little butane fire.
Bong, 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 bong on the bubble.
Oh, so you listen to her. I also like that I've been rolling really low perceptions. I imagine like Akuma's flares keep like fucking up my dark vision, like my night vision. Like I'm like, oh, I can probably, oh, dang it, no. Like, oh, is that, oh, no.
As you guys near this kind of bubble wrapped cozy cottage with enough gentle farmland around it to have the space for what looks to be goats.
Oh.
As you near and get closer and closer, do you guys want to? The bubble itself extends back enough where you kind of have to walk up like a 30-foot drive or path, dirt path off the road, or at least off and away from the river. Do you guys want to approach that bubble?
I think we should approach the bubble.
I tentatively approach the bubble.
Well, you can stay behind us as always.
As you do so,
Butt scoots.
I will ask you, let's see, how many hours has it been in the Unclaimed Lands? Okay.
Oh, jeez.
You guys have traveled for about 2 hours over dusk, another 2 hours through the forest, initially another 2 hours after that. So it's been about 6 hours on this journey so far. And as you near this Cody cottage and pass through the bubble's edge.
Oh, just like that?
I at least want to poke it first.
Yeah. I assumed we'd bounce right off.
No, I think it's quite inviting. It's almost like air conditioning on a hot day. As you step across, you realize that the bubble, it's not a bubble. It is a barrier against the outside. And so that's a hard distinction to make. I know that's like reinventing Uber, but
no, it's like when you put the plastic wrap on your windows in the winter, except you could walk through the plastic wrap.
Yeah, magically, yes. What you have just entered is a domain. So what you feel is the ease of wish stress that is ambient upon the air, one that takes its toll upon people before they realize. And so as you have traveled, you guys have been taking pretty constant psychic damage. It resets on short rests, and so when you guys rested, it reset to 0. But so it's been 4 hours since then. Everyone roll 4d4 of their own psychic damage.
That's rude. Did we sign up for this?
9 for cast.
Rude.
What does that look like?
It feels like you actually feel the easing of this stress as you pass through this barrier. You've been experiencing this damage up to a point where it only kind of becomes noticeable in the absence of it. And so it's such a low level residual stress that for Parable, it might feel familiar, but kind of like in a really dulled way, as if you're like immune to snake venom. But I just had like the tiniest dose ever of it.
I think I feel really inclined weirdly to do something that I've never really seen myself do. Is I pull out the good book, I tear off a corner with my eyes like bland, and I write, "Don't forget, going through hurts." And I tuck it into my good book, and I like almost look at what I was doing. I'm like, what am I? Oh, and I look at the note, like I do think I tuck it back into the good book, and I put it in my satchel, but I still don't know what I just did.
Interesting. Having ripped a page out of the good book, and
I rip a corner.
you rip a corner and you write upon that corner.
Yeah.
Somehow finding a loophole in his own system, Parable is able to find a way to write words that matter to him, regardless of what the book thinks. But there's something a little bit more glaring to you guys as you pass through the barrier. Suddenly, the goats are massive. There was one illusory aspect of the bubble. The 5 goats that were kind of in the opening of this cottage farmland are suddenly massive in front of you and look a little bit more, they're giant.
How
They're,
many hands? How many hands are these goats?
how many hands? Oh,
like
God.
horses, like a big horse
One
would
house.
be like, one house. Got it. Okay. Big goats.
Yeah, I think.
How big is the cottage?
One shed.
How big is the cottage?
They're like a one. It's like a one big room,
It's
cozy
cottage size, though?
It's cottage size.
So I want to know, goats eat anything. How are they keep? I'll ask when we knock. You're good. I got this.
Are those goats?
Big ones.
Goats are already big. Those are really big goats.
Doing some like wacky wish magic out here, guys. Let's keep our wits about us.
I've seen some crazy things. I've never seen a goat that big.
Does anyone else's head hurt? My head kind of hurts.
I actually, now that you mention it, I did something weird a moment, and I think I see the goat again, and I just like almost get sick to my stomach again.
As you guys all are within this farmland, the goats kind of take notice of you, and they seem to be doing that territorial thing where
I want you to giant goat bleat right now. That's not big enough.
And Akuma says, I want some.
No. You have reached your roasted animal limit for the day.
Of little flamey horns appear on Akuma's serpentine form. But mess with Akuma, get the flames.
Can just go back to lantern status.
Okay.
Can I roll insight on these giant goats to see if they're? I'm curious if they're hungry.
Don't give me animal handling. Actually.
I got 3.
Oh, that is. Bah. Sorry.
I think a little spit hits Parable in the face, but it comes out in like in a little bit, and then it just this giant glob just hits him in the face and just like starts just
You needed a shower after all that travel, huh?
Oh, I need a shower more. That's no. And Parable's just shaking off the spit and trying to wring out his hair.
Cassie's gonna make her way to the door.
Ooh, the rams seem,
Opportunity attack.
or the goat. Sorry, rather the goat.
I wondered.
The goats, the giant goats seem a little bit put off by this. And I think before you get to the door even, you see them really, really getting ready to charge.
Charge?
Yeah. They're doing the thing where they're like,
These are rams? These are goats? What do you got going on
they're
here?
They're giant goats, but they're still going to headbutt you.
Fair fight.
Cassie yells, "Is anyone home?"
You hear nothing.
Anyone?
Was that a goat?
Parable stands up and he walks up to these goats and tries to persuade them and say, "Oh, mighty goats!"
Zin cast minor illusion to make Parable look really large.
Do I have that perspective? Okay,
no,
so I just see a big version of me. Like,
I think you're.
This is awesome.
I think it specifies a 5x5 cube, so that is bigger than Parable. You grow an extra foot.
Larger than 5 foot cube.
I'm gigantic. Thank you, Zin.
Just trying to give you a little intimidation value.
Oh, great goats! I was wondering if we could partake in the shelter of your home.
Give me an animal handling check.
No. That is a dirty 20.
Damn, you see with that they understand you clearly and intelligently. So they are territorial. they can't speak, so they can't communicate any more grandiose ideas than, or any more complex ideas than no, as they do politely like hear you, and they kind of draw back from like the hostility of it, but like they very clearly stomp their feet and then shake their head at you. Yeah, they can't communicate much more than that, but they do calm down at your calm demeanor.
I don't think they're going to eat us, but I don't think they want us inside.
They're goats. They can't go inside.
They can't even fit through the door. Look at that door.
I don't think that they can go inside, but I do think that they care if we do.
Well, let's see if we can get in quick.
I'm into it.
On the count of 3.
1, 2, 3.
As you guys
Sprint to the door.
sprint to the door, everyone make a dexterity save.
Oh, God.
This will be DC 14.
Oh, no. I cast guidance. I wouldn't have enough to make that 9.
What was it?
Dexterity saving throw. DC 14.
That was not, I didn't get that.
Okay. As vines erupt from the ground,
Classic.
you are all entangled, for lack of a better word, as these vines grasp you. You see a little tiny tree frog kind of starts. It bounces. It jumps up from behind you through the bubble, sees you all, and lands in front of you, and wild shapes back into their natural form. Hi. What you have in front of you is a furbolg with kind of big floppy ears, tan complexion, whereas most furbolgs are blue or colored in nature. She's rather tan complexion and has kind of these dappled dots of freckles on her cheeks as she says, "I'm Dapple the Druid. Willow said you might be by. Good to have you here.
Can you let us out of these vines?
Very claustrophobic.
I'm a little the house isn't exactly made for guests, so I didn't really these aren't the only giant animals I have, and there's actually many layers to the house, and there's giant animals in every single side, and you might get stuck there for eternity."
Oh, Dapple, I think we got off on the wrong foot. I'm sorry we entered your bubble without asking.
Well, it's a reserve, but yes.
Your goats are kind of scary.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
my
we-
guard goats.
Definitely don't want to find out
They're
what's
good at their job.
Incredibly
layers
smart.
within.
Incredibly smart.
Thank you.
You knew we were coming?
Yeah, sounds like you were
Right.
expecting us.
Yes.
Oh yes.
So surely you know we mean you no harm.
Well, I didn't.
It's squeezing.
I don't go into people's houses without asking.
Oh, we weren't in your house. We weren't in your house.
Where it looks like you were headed there.
We were scared of the goats.
We were scared of the
The
goats.
goats are working.
We're just running away from the goats.
Great job with the goats. They're scary.
Yeah, they're scary and smart.
Please.
What we're saying is, hi Dapple, great to meet you. What do you say we start over and you can stop suffocating my friend here?
I think Parable is like, he's just, his last square inch has just disappeared around the top of his head.
Oh my god. Just fantastic. Dapple looks at you all and give me a group persuasion check. We'll take the average.
Oh, thank God. 21.
Nice. It's not too bad, too good. I got a 12.
5.
Ooh.
12 plus 21.
Cassie's-
33 plus 5. 38. Divided by 3. 12-ish. 13-ish.
12.33.
Yeah, we'll with all those checks, I think Dapple looks at you all and is especially with Willow's forewarning, says, "Well, the reserve," looking to her cozy cottage, which she has explained has several levels, all containing several different types of giant animal. This forest was once wished upon in a way that we don't know what caused it, but all of the animals became gigantic versions of themselves, and as new species, we didn't want them to die out. So Fall and Willow, upon my interest, looked and helped me set up this little mini domain with this reserve. And she said that you might be by the river Sibyllin. So Is there any way that I can help you? I don't know what your actual mission is.
It would be great to be put down.
Oh, yes, I can. Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, down. As the vine.
Thank you, Dapple. Thanks.
So, anyways, what can I help you with?
Honestly, we were looking for a cozy place to stop and rest. We're on our journey towards Starwatch Tower, and it's just been a long day.
And I have to say, there is a very scary cloud chasing us.
Oh.
Is this bubble like protection?
Well, if it's a wish-afflicted creature, they won't be able to enter without permission. So.
Oh, great. So we'll find out soon.
Are you familiar with a prismatic rainbow light cloud?
I mean, a will-o'-the-wish, which is an offshoot of will-o'-wisps, corrupted, you could say. A will-o'-the-wish is something that consumes something's dying wish, but it's not a cloud. It's tiny. It's prismatic in light, but it's a tiny thing.
So many screams. So much screaming.
What are you talking about? Screaming?
It tried to engulf us, and we escaped.
Oh, that sounds
and
awfully
then,
hungry.
And then we were walking through the woods, or it looked like the woods. I don't know. We took a while to get to lantern phase, and then there was screaming, and then I don't think it's small.
Yeah, let's just say it's had a meal already.
So many screams.
Oh.
You just hear an echo in the forest. Delicious.
If it is truly Wishborne, a word that we have not discussed yet, but is kind of the common term for anything that is born of the effects of a wish. If it is truly Wishborne, it will need one of yours permission or mine to cross this barrier.
Oh, thank the light.
Just gonna have to
thank
keep
the light.
looking.
We don't need any more guests. We're good.
So many screams.
I recommend you don't let it in.
Okay. If a giant prismatic cloud shows up on our
Oh, don't
doors-
say it like that.
Okay, well, I
It was
guess
real. We
you're
saw
right.
it.
You're right. In the world that we live in, there's many.
Your
there are many
goats,
sort-
your goats will see it, and then your goats will tell you.
You're 18-foot tall goats, by the way, which up until this moment I would have thought weren't real too. So I guess I can't blame you for not believing us.
Thanks for letting us down, the vines. Thank you for putting us down.
Well, though I can't offer you my cottage, I can offer you camp here. She basically just points to
The ground.
open cattle ground, right? Like, but I have the space for you, and I guarantee you are safe from the many and varied dangers of the forest here, especially if they stem from problems of wishing.
And the goats will
The
leave us
goats, too?
alone.
The goats will leave you alone. Sorry, I didn't answer that immediately.
Where do they use the restroom?
She turns ever so slowly to an area and then quickly looks back. Oh, nowhere you need to know. It's very close by to where she is offered for you for sleeping.
Oh, great. Great.
No, they go only about once a month. And she looks at like, her, she thinks to herself very, I guess it is about that time of the month, but well. So, Dapple has offered you a place to rest for the night, although it seems like you'll have to make your own coziness out of it. She has offered you safety. If you guys have any questions for her, to aid you on your journey towards finding the Starwatch Tower hands that seem to be lost somewhere in this valley, or any other questions.
Yeah, we are. Before you go, thank you so much for letting us stay here. By the way.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. We are kind of on a mission.
Yes. As Willow mentioned. And would you be perhaps Zin?
Yeah, Zin, promise. whatever. We can be Zin. I'll be Zin.
Yes.
I'll be Zin. No, it's good. I'm.
Well, that's how the Willow referred to you in her.
She did. Wait, she used my real name?
Well, I guess she.
Did she say anything else about me?
Yep.
Careful,
I'm
Zin.
sensing-
Careful what you wish for.
Would you actually like to know?
If only if it's good.
Well, I'll let you decide if it was good. She said that
That hasn't worked out for me well in the past.
she said that you're quite dedicated, almost to a fault. but almost, right?
I don't see how that would be a fault.
Almost, right?
But yeah, no, I'm definitely very dedicated. I'm glad that she sees that in me.
A little, what were her words exactly? Inflexible at times.
But I stretch every morning.
Let's set up camp, huh, Zim?
Yeah.
Dapple.
But back to my right. No, you go. I start stretching her hamstrings.
I actually nudged in with the elbow. Could you do the thing that you make me bigger? And I walk
Minor
up.
illusion. He grows a foot.
I walk up to Dapple. Dapple, I can't help but see you've made an amazing place here. I was just wondering, where might I be able to undress? And
Sorry, what are you doing?
I was just wondering if you wanted to maybe talk later, or
Are you you're undressing right now?
no, I just the top button.
No. Okay. Sleep where you need to. I roll a persuasion.
Praise kink. Flirting. Let's go.
It's persuasion. That is 17.
with a 17. I gotta
roll in a post.
okay. With a 12, she sees the advance and with a 17, you don't come off as creepy as the circumstance are on paper. She sees like what are you doing right now?
Parable, this is the first time he's ever flirted. He was caught off guard by how cute this person was to him. And I think he stood up and asked his friends to bolster him. And then he was very, very wrong in his actions and is like catching himself in the middle of stories he read as like the Gaston to try to expose their chest hair and do all these things, and he's just trying to be more like bigger than himself and manlier.
He tries to be like all of the characters from the book that he's read. Like, oh yeah,
God. I was literally picturing Gaston from like
yes,
and him just picking the wrong person to idolize in the moment, and is just like broad shouldered and says, "No matter though, like only if you want to." And like his voice cracks a little bit and he walks away.
She says, well, I guess I am interested to see see if this cloud stops by at all. Sorry, you asked me where I was going to be sleeping?
Well, I was just wondering where druids sleep in general. I wasn't saying that we should. I think I'm just going to go to bed.
I think that might be a good idea.
I think Parable walks off and he curls up in a ball, probably right near where all the goat poop is on it.
You see that she's like very vigorously waving away the goats that seem to have been encroaching upon your space right behind you. And she says, no, he seems well-meaning. He didn't mean anything by it.
Goat's gonna eat me because I'm flirting with the truth.
Oh my gosh. You'll get him next time, buddy.
She does answer your question as you walk away though. She says, usually outside. So.
Oh, wait, don't leave. I'm so sorry. We got a little distracted. Have you noticed, have any other people stopped by your cottage with giant goats recently?
With giant goats?
No. Your cottage with the giant goats. Has anyone stopped by?
No one has stopped by with the giant goats, but several have stopped by approaching this cottage, which has giant goats.
Yes. Oh, they have. How long ago?
Well, there was one man. He was very silly, quite silly. Lemillion Lodestar, he said his name was.
Yeah.
Can't forget a name like that.
Yes, the Wishmasters.
I did say I would remember him, and I will.
Well, they are a growing band.
What do they do?
Oh, the Wishmasters. I
think there might only be one.
They might be shrinking.
Oh, last I heard
so
that
many screams.
There were a band of dozens in the forest.
So many screams.
Oh.
They may be fewer today.
Oh.
Given the rainbow prism cloud.
Pinky promise. I will remember you.
Good to know. Well,
anyone else?
I did offer him a little bit of help just navigating the forest. The goats did not like that poor stupid man.
They are smarter than that man.
You just hear from curled up Parable.
You were pantomiming Lemillion Lodestar almost nearly exactly. It's weird that your friend was the second person to pop open a button at me today. that Lodestar fellow was the first one to do it, but I'm happy that you all made it here safely. Willow was very worried that the trip might go awry, but of others who have have journeyed here. It's been primarily the Million Lodestar of recent late, and
Anyone from Star Watch?
oh no, though they have come through before, not recently. There was, well, I typically hide the cottage with illusion magic when they come calling, but there were some star callers.
Do tell.
Well, this forest is held between several factions. The most dangerous of them, in my opinion, are the star callers. They seek the fall of the frozen star, and
Parable sits up and puts his cloak on. He's just kind of listening cross-legged.
like the Wishmasters, they pillage this forest for any sort of wish artifact or afflicted objects that they can find to sell or to claim. But the Star Callers are much worse. It is within their beliefs that something with the world is wrong. And of course, yes, it is. But they want it all gone with the fall of the star. They want that to reset the world. And the Star Callers, they are just one of the factions that holds this forest ground for the fact that it is near to historical points, apparently, within their culture, that apparently their leaders held the star or called the star here itself, and it stayed still upon that. But their warriors are fierce, and they seek in all functionality, the end of us all. Even if it is a belief of theirs, I have to respect it, but it's not that I like them. They are very dangerous.
Can Zin do a religion or history check? Because if she does live in this area, if she would know about star callers. Does it matter? History or?
I would let you choose. Both would work, I think, here.
Yeah, I get a +4 on either, so 11.
Not enough to know with exactitude, but actually, you can roll this with advantage.
It's just a child.
I think to help Zen remember, I think a parable.
Not much better. 9.
Oh.
Would Akuma know?
You know what? I think Akuma has been just with you for long enough, and he says, "Isn't that what they called as a slur your people?"
I never ventured far enough to be called anything. The farthest we went, I think, was like the river, but I never encountered anyone other outside of my community until I left.
Well, maybe they too were interested in destruction.
But the light was to help. The light was contained within our community. They didn't want to share. They didn't want to change the world. I wanted to change the world. They wanted to change themselves. I don't. If they are going to destroy the world, they're under some illusion that they're doing good.
Well, that's what the little frog woman said, but maybe they don't believe it will be destroyed. Maybe they just believe that it will be theirs.
Would they not know? I mean, I think Zin is grappling with like a feeling of wanting to save her family.
Mm-hmm.
And wanting to like let them know the truth. Like this is just comes as like a shock of like what she thought she knew. Did her parents know? Are they in on something? Why was she told it was good? Did they, just
as you are struggling with these new thoughts and feelings about what star color might be, you're not able to exactly place the term. You'll have to do some more thinking on it, but yeah, who knows where the truth may lie between the tidings of the druid named Dapple, who tells you that she has not seen the hands of the Starwatch Tower, but there are many dangers in these woods that include everything from the star callers to apparently a prismatic cloud. And as I think you guys all lay down to find some rest here, that is a good point to end our session.
Wow.
Zen lets Akuma start a fire.
Akuma starts the fire. Is it any quick rest role play?
I just think that with everything going on to honor how scary that was, you hear maybe one more scream and one more delicious.
Yeah, you do as the night goes on.
Man, star callers like Jehovah's Witness, they show up on your front doorstep like,
yeah,
got any wish stuff? God damn it.
It's super cool to realize that like the place that you ran from is honestly under the same, or came from, not ran from, but came from, is under the same, like you, it's all the same thing.
Save
it's just
for
very,
the
yeah.
after show.
You're right.
Put a pin in it.
Put a pin in it.
All right. Well, thank you guys for this fantastic episode. This has been a bite-sized dice roll twice told story told by yours truly. This is me, your DM, Robert Whitehead, and it was brought to life by my players, G, Maya, and Sav. To post about the show, you can use hashtag DiceSized. That's DICESIZED. For more like this, follow us on Instagram and find us on Patreon. Patreon.com/DiceSized. DiceSized.